Yeah, not much else to do at all today, is there? So, hello to everyone who's watching. This is a little live session running stream today because the weather in Glasgow is absolutely horrendous. There's not much else to do today. And sit and watch some trains go by. On the layout today we've got Normandy on the inside main line with a few passenger coaches, the four-wheelers, and Brighton Terrier with the freight train with the new brake van at the end of that one. And as you'll see in a second when it comes round, this is quite a considerable rake of freight wagons with the new brake van at the end. And if you saw the video that I posted of that when I got it at first, it wasn't very free running. A little bit of fettling and it's much better now. And I can put it in a rake with all of these wagons, with Brighton only on about 30% power in the controller, and it's running absolutely fine. And if I change some points, I've also got Blink Bonnie. Normandy coming round again. And an 08 in the factory sidings. Just adjusting the camera a little there. If there's anything that anyone watching would like to see, different locos or different angles of the layouts, just give me a shout in the comments, in the chat. I'll try and keep an eye on that as we're going along. So we've got the Terrier, Normandy and the 08 in operation at the moment. You can also switch the points on from the branch line to the main line and bring out Link Bonnie, if I can even say that right. (37) and 66 are around as well. And the HST and Falcon, I can bring them out if anyone wants to see them too. The new brake van just on the end of this rake of wagons here. I had to do a little bit of work to get mine running as freely as I would like, but thankfully it seems as if not all of them have had that problem. I've heard a lot of people theirs are running very nicely. I have heard a few people are still having theirs running a wee bit stiff, as mine was. But it seems to be possible to get them free running. Just check if the wheels are catching on anything, because there is a lot of fine detail on those brake vans, so it's easy for something to just be catching them. You might have to just cut away a little bit at something that's not quite right, but if you are having trouble with them, then they can be sorted. That also shows how good an engine that little Terrier is, how much pulling power it has. Because that is a pretty decent rake of wagons there. And a few of them are not the most free running. Like the tanker and the original brake van. Neither of them free run very well. I can have that whole rake of them, and Brighton's pulling it no bother. And hopefully the J50 will as well when I get mine in a few weeks' time. I think Hornby are expecting the LNER J50s end of this month, start of next month. And so when the J50 arrives, my steam era will have the J50 for pulling the freight trains. The Terrier will be on the four-wheel passengers. Normandy will be in the factory siding as a little shunter. Lincoln and Falcon as the big mainline engines. And if I'm running a diesel era, we've got the Class 37, 66, 08 and the HST. And Hellions railcar should be coming along pretty soon. Seen some video of them running on Peach's layout at Doncaster this weekend and they're looking fantastic. And if there's anything anyone wants to ask about the layout, or if there's different locals you want to see or a different angle in the layouts, please say hi in the chat. So one thing that I have in mind to try out, by fast track movies, half watching the speed skating on the TV and being distracted by passing locomotives. I was watching a wee bit of the curling earlier on. I'm going to bring Normandy into the sidings. Because I just had a thought that one thing that I haven't done is I haven't put my 37 on the inside main line, the radius 2 track. And some people had asked how it got on because they were wondering if it ran round radius 2 okay, if we got derailments or not. And I haven't tried it out yet, so let's do that and see what happens. Okay, so Loch Rannoch on radius 2. Let's see what happens. Just going to run at light engine for the moment. Okay, it's gone round the radius 2 curves at the east end of the layout fine. And the west end. Stopped. Why is it stopped? Maybe just a bit of dirty track. Okay. I'll turn it around now. Give it a few laps with the other side facing forward, just to check. Okay, I think I can safely say that my Loch Rannoch at least is handling radius 2 fine. Let's bring some coaches down for it. Trying to get the coaches onto the rails right. Right, I think I've got them all on okay. Okay, there you go. For anyone that was asking if Loch Rannoch handles radius 2 okay, seems to be fine. With Normandy and the freight sidings, we can run that as a little factory workers train. starting to get a bit dark up here now, so get some more light on there. Makes it easier for the camera to stay in focus. try the 08 again, because I've got one set of points in the goods yard today that it is consistently stalling on. That was better. Cleaned it up and it went through. A bit of balsa wood also makes a pretty decent track cleaner. Hello to Bim's Engine on the Rails. I'm doing good. How are you? Hope you're having a good weekend. And hello also to Luck Rail. Fun to see TT120 in action. Did the math for a budget modular TT system the other day inspired by T-Track. Cool. Yeah, I have found that TT it works well for me at any rate. I don't have a huge amount of space where I am, so if I was doing a double O layout, I wouldn't be able to get an awful lot into the space that I've got available. If I went as small as N, I'm 6'5" and quite clumsy. I think N was going to be just a bit too fiddly for me. TT120 is kind of nicely in between the two. Luck Rail, nice to finally have a UK system that's more or less scale. Also matches the international stuff. Yeah. The British N, the US N, Euro N, and then the same with double O and HO. To have a British outline scale system that is the right balance between the scale and the gauge. It's about time really. And Bim's Engine and the Rails doing okay, even though Wales lost yesterday. Yeah, one of my best mates is Welsh, and I was watching the game and it wasn't a good one. Same with me yesterday with Scotland and Italy. Less said about that one, the better. Just have to hope we both pick ourselves up for the next set of games. across France Island as well, yeah. I did catch that one. I'm not quite as invested in that one as I don't know anyone French and really know so many Irish folk. But yeah, not the best week for the Celtic nations. My mate Ben, who's the Welsh guy, he lives in Hong Kong now, so I don't know if I don't think he caught it live, but hopefully he's caught up on it now. And he's not too down after it. It was yeah, pretty awful one. I just hope that England aren't scoring that heavily next week. When is it next week or is it 2 weeks? But anyway, it's the Calcutta Cup game is the next one for us. I'm not holding out much hope, to be honest. I'm just hoping that whatever happens in the Calcutta Cup game, it's on the BBC and I don't have to sit through adverts watching it. Cheers, Bibbs. Yeah, the 37's a great local. Love running Loch Rannoch. It's on the inside of the main lines today because a few people had commented on the videos that I posted asking how well it ran on Radius 2 and I hadn't actually run it on the inside loop yet. I'd only had it on the outer loop, which is Radius 3, and the branch line, which was out to Radius 4, so I hadn't tried it on second Radius. But it seems to be running absolutely fine. Give a rugby, there's always next time. Loch Rail, we must do without hope, there's always vengeance. What are the British TT radii? I'm not absolutely sure off the top of my head what the exact measurements are. I think I'm right in saying that Hornby based their track geometry from the TT system that Tillig do in Europe, I think. Well, I don't know off the top of my head what the exact measurements are, but you've got first radius, which is the very tight one just for sort of freight depots, and only the smallest locals can go around that. Second, third, fourth are the kind of sort of main line ones that they recommend, and the Hornby say that the class 37 will run on radius 2 and upwards. Some people were finding it was a wee bit tight on radius 2 and they were having derailments, and it's going fine. I think they have it on their website. Used to double over the obfuscated. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a page somewhere on the website that gave you that kind of information, but I might be wrong. I'll see if I can find the link. If I can find the page. Let's see, Hornby TT120 track. Okay, so this is what it says on the page for the second radius curves. 30-degree code 80 track piece with a 310mm radius. So they're saying 310mm radius for second radius. The first radius, which is the tightest one that they sell in set track, is 267mm radius. So 267, 310. Third radius, 353mm radius. Can I find fourth radius? Fourth radius, 396mm. Catch up in the chats whilst I was looking all that up. BIM's engine on rails, waiting for the EWS ballast wagons to come out. We'll use them to carry steel coils, like the route between Cardiff Docks and Port Talbot Steelworks. Cool. When are the EWS ballast wagons coming out? Is that one that Hornby's doing, or is that the one that Revolutions is working on? I've kind of lost track of what all the wagons are at the moment. R2310, R3353, or R4396 matches Tillig B-Track. Yeah, I thought it was the Tillig system that they based it on. Which means, of course, if you can find a supplier that will import Tillig track, you've got more options there as opposed to just what Hornby have done in the set track so far. I think Gauge Master have started doing some pieces of set track. I think they're importing some of the Tillig ones and sort of selling them under their own brand. The EWS ballast wagons, it is Hornby ones. Heard they are imminent. Cool. I hope they look good when they arrive. Nice runners as well. Cheers to Andy Collins, new subscriber. Wagons page up. Let's go for it. Oh yeah, the coalfish. Coalfish ballast wagons. Yeah, they look cool. I'm trying not to spend too much on new stuff at the moment. Luckily, saying my modular system's based on D-track with 396mm curves. As long as you get the bending height right, you could use the Hornby track. Tillage is cheaper in the UK, but Hornby's easier to find in stock. Yeah. Ben's Engine and Rail saying Bunter's Yard do some amazing steel coils, which I think will fit lovely on the wagons. Yeah, Bunter's Yard do some great stuff. I've got a fair few bits and pieces of theirs on the layout here. And they've got lots more things that I've got my eye on for when I've got some spare cash. Donegal Dad Rail, hi everyone, hello! How are you doing? Welcome along to the stream. Just a nice simple little running session today. Horrible weather here in Glasgow, so I'm just at home with the train set, watching a few locals go round. Rail trying to save some money too. I've got Ivor pre-ordered. Nice. Donegal Dad Rail really looks great. Thank you. Yeah, I like this wee scene down at the level crossing. A nice wee spot to do a live stream from, watching the trains go by. Weather not much better there in Donegal, and nowhere seems to be getting it nice at the moment. Locktail going to be 300 quid well spent, but it's going to be 300 quid spent, yeah. Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? You know, they're lovely models when they arrive, and you know, bring a lot of joy when you can sit and watch them go around, but they're not cheap. Weather pretty rough in South Wales too. Yeah, it's just horrible everywhere. I mean, it's February, what do we expect? There was a brief moment of sun in the Great Desert of East Anglia an hour ago, but it went quickly. Yeah, it's not good at the moment. If any of you are on Hornby's forum, my username there is Dave the Busker, which will give you a fair idea of what I do as a day job. Suffice to say, I've not been doing a lot of it the last wee while. I'm hoping the weather tomorrow is going to be a wee bit better and I'll be able to get out with the guitar for a wee while. Luckily, I'm not on the forum, but I've seen your post once or twice while doing things. If you see Dave the Busker, that's me. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. It is a tango that I play. Just sitting over in the corner somewhere. Let's go sit. I think I'm going to be struggling to get it into shot and I'm already knocking things over. remarkably in tune for just out of the case. I was supposed to be doing a gig at Stirling Folk Club tomorrow, but it's been cancelled at the last minute, annoyingly. Not quite sure what happened. I think the headliner got mixed up because I had a wee look on the headlining band's website when I heard that the gig was cancelled, and I think they might have got themselves mixed up and double booked or something. That's a shame though. I was looking forward to that one. I haven't done a solo gig in a while. Still see I've got folk that I've knocked over with a guitar there. Just Google the station's Spinners supposedly. Do you mean the real life Hollybush station? Aye. Yeah, the layout's named after it, but it's not a recreation of it. It's a very heavily fictionalised version. Hollybush is where my grandparents lived, and any time that I was growing up visiting them, you know, I'd see the railway line, and I was always hoping that you'd see a train go over it. So when I was young, it was closed to passenger traffic, but it was still open for freight traffic. So there was a chance that every once in a while you might see something. It was pretty rare. So yeah, the layout's named after it, but it's not. This doesn't look anything like Hollybush in real life. There's little bits of it that are kind of similar to where I grew up in Ayr. And there's bits that are kind of more like what I see around Glasgow. I live from the North Coast, their station's still there, I wish it wasn't. Oh dear. So the station on my layout is up at the back. 4 platforms, 2 through and 2 bay, which is the kind of layout that Ayr Station has. And then there's another station on the branch line, which is just a little single platform thing that's meant to be something a little bit more rural, which is a bit closer to the real life Hollybush. Shout out to Salcoats. Yeah, just up the coast from where I grew up. But sometimes passing through if I'm going over to Arran, when you get the ferry from Ardrossan. Passing through Saltcoats there. A band that I used to play bass in, Roscoe Bacon and the Squeaks, we recorded a demo in a studio just next to, I think it's just next to Saltcoats Station. So it's actually one of the stations around there, the little community centre with our little recording studio attached to it. We did a demo in there. I was going to say Nostar. Thanks, Dave. See you all soon, Jonathan. Take care, Jonathan. Catch you again sometime. I hope Wales are better luck in the next match. Put a bit more light on. So it is getting quite dark in here now. Let's bring the camera up a wee bit. So that's the station up there. I always thought it was Scottish Chainmouth. There was a recording studio next to the station there too. Named, modelled and created the most Scottish stations. Reopened after the local train drivers refused to acknowledge its closure, yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing that story. If you excuse the shaky cam for a minute, let you have a bit of an overview of the whole thing. We thought that if the English wanted to close a railway station, they should pick on Euston or King's Cross. Aye, can't see any of them getting closed down, can you? Now, on the subject of recording studios, you see the incline line goes up round the back of the station there, and that is a little tip to Dolmarnock station in Glasgow, which used to have a line going up behind the main lines on an incline. And Dolmarnock is where my band have its studios at the moment. So I'm quite often passing that way if we're heading into rehearsals. We'll be heading in for rehearsals sometime pretty soon, because the Cayley band that I play in have just been confirmed for a booking in May, so we need to get in for rehearsals sometime soon. So we've got a new fiddle player joining us. Our mandolin player had to drop out. He's gone and got himself a full-time proper job. Don't know what that's all about. Mike is now a full-time trucker, so he had to pull out of the band because he didn't have the time available anymore. But my friend Emma's coming in and she's going to be playing fiddle with us. But we've not had a chance to get the new lineup together yet, so we'll need to get into the studio and get some time to practice before this gig on the 2nd of May. Fortunately, Emma's a brilliant fiddle player, so no doubt that now that I've sent her the music, she'll pick it up no bother and fit right in. If we can just get a wee jam on the go. Often people are able to have success for music. Local piper who escaped the drudgery of IT work, a wise man. Aye. And it's not a bad way to make a living. And I'm nowhere near the kind of levels of the music industry where I would actually get rich out of doing it, but if you can pay the bills doing something that you enjoy, then you must be doing something right. This gig that we've got booked in May, it's quite a nice one. We did it quite regularly with the Cayley band that I used to be a part of. The accordion player retired. He's got a young family now. He wanted to step away from live performances and being out till midnight all the time. Concentrate on his piano teaching business, which is fair play. If he's got young kids, I can't see him wanting to be, out all hours. How do you know if you're a successful musician? You have a model train set. Yeah. Being able to get by on what I can make from gigs and have enough left over to afford this. It's not bad at all. Then you know if you're successful in the music industry, you have a DCC model train set. I've still a way to go to get to that level. DC is expensive enough. Why do you think I have to say so hard for Iowa? I wasn't buying them unless they went psh, 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 psh. They don't make them like that anymore, do they? Well, I mean, that is kind of what I do with the videos that I post. All the background music in the videos is either by Marshall Chips or by Havel and Cayley Band, which are the two of the bands that I play in. Which means that I can post videos with music and not get copyright strikes on them because they're my copyright. I've got a new demo that I've been writing in the last week that might wind up as background music in a video at some point soon. Very early days, was still trying to get the hang of framing, lighting and editing. Yeah, there is a lot to kind of to think about when you're filming the videos. It's what I did at university. I've got my degree is in film studies from University of Stirling. So I spent a lot of time experimenting and finding out ways of setting things up. And then of course, when you take it down to miniature, it's slightly different again because there's lots of different things you have to think about when you're filming on a much smaller scale. And a lot of the time I just do fairly quick videos just with my camera phone and it works reasonably well. And this live stream is on my camera phone. But the one difficulty that you have with that is it's got a very shallow depth of field. So if you're filming really, really small miniature things, it's very hard to keep the entire scene in focus. You might be able to get a close-up detail in focus, but the end of the street is miles out. So if I'm doing something where I'm spending a bit more time on it, I use a camera with an adjustable f-stop so I can put that up higher. If that's up an f-stop up about at least 8, you can increase the depth of field, and it makes it much easier to keep things in focus when you're filming miniatures. And for camera placements, I just always try and get the camera in nice and absolutely as low down as I can when I'm filming. Especially like for street scenes and things like that. Bear with me for a second whilst I try and get the camera off the tripod that it's on at the moment, so the camera will be shuggling around like an earthquake for a second. And I'm just realising that the lens is up on the top of the camera, and I want it at the bottom. So if I flip it over, is it going to... Orientation is locked, rotate device back, so I don't think that's going to work. So the camera lens is going to be quite high on anything that I do because I can't turn it round. If you get the lens down nice and low, then you can get it about the height that's, if one of your model figures was holding a camera, about the height that it would be at. It's a handheld shot at the moment, so it's not very steady. But you get the idea. Put it back onto the tripod. Yeah, as you say, also that's also an issue. Shooting real street scenes, f2 on a Super 35 sensor, you get about 4 meters sharp. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Hello to Fresno Jason, evening to you. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Oh, are you over in California? Hello, California. You've come a long way for this stream. Morning for you. Yeah, it's early evening here, just coming up to 6 o'clock in the evening here in Scotland. Here in Glasgow. And I'm just doing a wee chilled out running session. You were over last year. Cool. Call the wife late in the day. Yeah, it is quite a time difference here to California. And I imagine probably a fair bit nicer weather. Well, maybe not, cold and damp there too. It is very cold and very damp here. Which is why I'm inside with the trains and not away out doing something. "5,000 miles weather just the same." Aye. Although, there's always a chance that what a Californian's definition of cold and what a Scotsman's definition of cold may not be exactly the same. I was talking earlier in the stream about my mate Ben, who's originally from Wales and lives in Hong Kong now. And he'll sort of jokingly email me when Hong Kong is putting out its cold weather alerts. And what Hong Kong regards as cold enough to put out a weather alert, in Scotland I would be walking around in shorts and t-shirt. Quite temperature, very relative. Had sunburn and Applecross. Scotland's not that cold. No, when you get it on a nice day, Scotland could be absolutely lovely. And Applecross is beautiful. I was up there, it's a good few years back now, but I was up there, we got a Ceilidh booking up that way, and it is stunning up there. Cold here can be cold though, -1 to -5. Yeah, that's about what we're getting here at the moment. It's kind of, it's been hovering around freezing a lot the last wee while. Sunburn was on the way back, drove through a blizzard to get to it. Yeah, that sounds like Applecross. As they say about Scotland, you'll quite often see 4 seasons in one day. I remember driving up the Bjarnabach. I hope they've got that pronounced right. The road that takes you up, and the day that we were driving over, beautiful sunny day, you could see for miles. It's middle of summer, everything was amazing, absolutely beautiful. The next morning after the Ceilidh driving back, it was thick with fog, you couldn't see anything, absolutely terrifying going over this winding road with hairpin bends and massive drops down the mountainside either side of you. Remember when we were in the UK last year, the one nice day was when we got there. Otherwise it was damp and chilly the other 4 days. Yeah, there's a lot of things to come here for. The weather is not often one of them. Unless your favourite weather is dreich. Nothing wrong with dreich. In South Wales. Ah, lovely. A friend of mine is moving down that way, is looking for a place around South Wales at the moment. Hope to someday make it to Scotland and Ireland. Hope you do. Hope you have a lovely time, and thank you for realising that we're different countries. I had an American post on one of my videos of my Cayley band the other day, how much they loved Irish music. Yeah, we're Scottish. I had to laugh at that. Ah, right, family's got ties in the area going way back. Yeah, many Americans have no idea about the area and there are different countries. Aye. I can't remember who it was, but there was a comedian did a wee sketch about an American getting off the plane in Glasgow and getting into the taxi and talking to the taxi driver about all the places that they wanted to go, and it was clear that like everywhere that they were listing was somewhere in Ireland. Had no idea that they were in a completely different country. And there are a lot of similarities and a lot of crossover in traditional Scottish and Irish music. We may be two different countries, but we're not geographically very far apart. You know, you're just across the Irish Sea, so you get a lot of Scottish people travelling across to Ireland, Irish people coming across to Scotland, a lot of cross-pollination between the two areas. And in fact, sometimes I've had folk from more northern parts of Scotland think that my accent is Irish, because Ayrshire, southwest Scotland, is very close to northeast Ireland, just a little bit of sea between us. So the accents are not totally dissimilar. Recommendations: Oban and Ballater for Scotland. And somewhere where I'm not even going to attempt the pronunciation for Ireland. Oban is lovely. Oban and Ballater are both beautiful. I was up in Oban not that long ago, getting the ferry across because I was playing a music festival. I think most of the accents, Scotland and Ireland, are, yeah, they're not too hard to understand. If you can't understand the accent, then there's a fair chance you're in Dundee. Even among Scots, the Dundonian accent is almost incomprehensible. Aye, the pace is something else. So if you get someone that's got like a really, really strong Glaswegian accent that's talking at you a mile a minute, particularly if you get like, you know, like a right kind of jakey Glaswegian. And there's been times when I've been out busking and someone's come up to me with that kind of accent, and I've struggled to understand what they're saying. I've got used to the East Coast accent. Pete and Mike from Marshall Chip, the band that I play in, they're both from Edinburgh. So I've had to get used to East Coasters. Aye, that's the thing here for the UK as a whole. You only have to travel a few miles down the road and the accent can change dramatically. Long, long history of folks no going anywhere outside the Rainby village. Yeah, you've got the same kind of thing in the States. The different areas, the accent and the speeds. But for someone like me who grew up in Scotland and has lived here my whole life, trying to get my head around just the vastness of the United States. You know, it's kind of incomprehensibly big. Each state is about the size of a European country. Yeah, when I was over. But I've got relatives over in the States, in Texas. Well, they're in Texas now. They lived in Nashville last time I was over. And their idea of going down the road to the shops was like, you're 50 miles away. Most of the English haven't had the great schism between the Ouija and the northeast accents. It's bizarre how unlike they are. West Country and Geordie are more alike than Erskine and Tom and Toe. Drove from Los Angeles to Alabama. Oh my. 5 or 6 days. Yeah, the concept of like a week driving somewhere, that's just completely alien here. You know, you could get from the very tip of mainland Scotland down to the south of England. You could do that in a day easily. The longest I've ever been on a car journey, this was when my aunt who lives in America was getting married, and we flew into Florida. We had a wee family holiday in Florida, and then we drove up to was it Charleston she was getting married in, I think, or did we stop off in Charleston on the way? Hang on, let me get a map up, remind myself where it was. Yeah. We drove from Orlando to Charleston. And that was about 2 days. Stuck in the back of the car that my dad had rented for the holiday. Then you got to the UK, arrived in London and drove to South Wales, down to Cardiff. Yeah, that would seem like not much of a journey compared to Los Angeles to Alabama. Two of the three worst capitals in the UK, oh dear me. Never been to Cardiff. Been to London. London's a bit big for me. And Glasgow's a bit big for me. I'm used to small town places, having grown up in Ayrshire. Yeah, Americans driving like 2 or 3 hours just for anything fun it seems mad to me. That's just that difference in culture, isn't it? Where everything's much more compact over here, nothing's that far to go to. But when you've got all the masses of space that you've got in America, you know, a big long drive doesn't seem like anything much to think about. It's much more normal to you. I think about the longest commute that I'm doing for anything at the moment is when I'm busking in Stirling, and that's about 40 minutes on the train at most. About half an hour if I can get the express train that doesn't stop anywhere, and that feels like I'm going miles away. Oh yeah, if you ever get the chance to go to Edinburgh is unbelievably pretty for a big city. Area around Cardiff is gorgeous. The South Wales down in valleys, it's beautiful. Love to get down there. Because we've got a lot of heritage railways in Wales. I'd definitely love to get a visit to some of them. The west coast of America, that's one bit that I haven't been to. Been down in the south a lot because I had relatives around there, but not to the west coast. Greatest argument of modern Scotland. Not independence, not Brexit, rules. Take it you mean like reintroduction? Yeah, I've heard people talking about what would happen if rules were reintroduced to the ecosystem. It's interesting. It's not something that I'm very knowledgeable about. So I don't have a position on it, but yeah, it would be quite something. Because probably the biggest argument you're going to get against it is all the toffs that don't want them reintroduced on their hunting estates because they want to catch all the deer. Good evening, Scotch Rails. How are you doing? Welcome along to the stream. Just having a wee chilled out running session live stream tonight. Whenever we build a module set in Scotland, always put at least one wolf as a matter of principle. Cool. One thing I don't have much of, there's not an awful lot of wildlife around yet. Yeah, Model U's got some nice stuff. Knock has got a few bits and pieces as well. Just having the spare cash to add more things, isn't it? Layout reminds me of the club layout in Elderslie from back circa 1978. Cool. I think that's Elderslie, just outside Paisley, yeah? Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Those were the features. A couple of years on me then I was 81. think there was an exhibition out there fairly recently. I was hoping to get along to, but I couldn't make it. All my modules at IKEA base. Was quite happy to find 2 more baseboards in a charity shop yesterday. Nice one. Yeah, it's always good when you can pick up something without having to spend too much on it. Might not be the original, might not be the same club then, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there is is it Renfrewshire Model Railway Club, I think they call themselves now. I don't know if they've got any connection to the old club or not, but yeah, there was an exhibition of micro layouts a wee while back. I was chatting to one of the guys at the Cathcart exhibition was telling me about it. But I just wasn't free to get along when it was happening. Hopefully catch it another time. Another model train connection last weekend doing some drifting. Awesome. Yeah, I do keep an eye out in sort of thrift shops and second-hand shops to see if I can ever see anything that would work well on it. The problem at the moment is TT120 is so new in British model rail that there's very little that's available second hand yet, whereas 00, HO, N-gauge, I've got so many more years going that, that there's more chance of picking up something. Like a GWR auto coach for £3. That is brilliant. Yeah, N and HO, you've got much more chance of getting some good bargains. HO or the 00 that we have here, I wouldn't be able to fit much into the space that I've got available. And N just seemed a little bit too fiddly for me personally. Work on the N scale could have your visor on, yeah, that's the thing. But as you say, it does allow for an awful lot in a small space. It's one of the things that I love going to the exhibitions to see all the layouts. I've seen some amazing things in N scale. But I'm 6'5" and somewhat clumsy. TT is about as small as I can deal with. I've ordered another N-scale set from Japan. Nice one. I suppose that's the thing, you know, if you're used to dealing with a small scale, it's easier to make do and enjoy it, yeah. I'm sure if I'd gone for N, I would have got the hang of it. As you see, that's the important thing, whatever scale you're in, as long as you're doing something that you enjoy. About time for those road workers to have a tea break. Yeah, I think it is. I've just realised how long I've been on. It's just gone over the 2-hour mark. I should probably think about heading off and getting something on for my dinner and giving those road workers a tea break. They've been at that pothole a while, you'd think they'd be finished by now. Yeah, that cyclist is not looking where he's going. A bit like all the cyclists in Glasgow. I nearly got run over the other day by a cyclist bombing down the pavement next to a cycle lane. What a rocket indeed. And with that, I think I'm gonna head off and get my dinner on. Thank you very much to everyone who has joined me today. Hope you've enjoyed this this wee stream. Take care, everyone, and hopefully I'll catch you again sometime soon. See you later. Bye-bye.